All righty. Well, happy Friday, everybody. I am Dana Miller with JER HR Group. Some of you may recognize my name from Inspiring Solutions. We joined them back in November, and it's been a great new partnership that it's just has added so much more to our capabilities of delivering talent development and HR services and compensation. So today we are going to hear from Larry Beers, Director of Consulting with JER HR Group, and he's going to talk about rewarding and compensating your employees. So the purpose of our webinars, we've been doing these free Friday webinars for probably about close to 10 years now, the third Friday of every month. We like to deliver some monthly motivation and expose you to one of our inspiring programs and our products. So like I said, today, Larry is going to be talking about compensation and rewarding your employees. As you know, the job market is very tight right now, so it's important to retain your employees. The webinar agenda: aligning rewards with company culture and values. Larry is going to talk about identify meaningful ways to engage employees and respond to employee needs post-COVID. So that's something that a lot of people are concerned about, trying to get their employees back to work or learning how to work hybrid or remote. So I'd like to introduce Larry. He began consulting with JER HR Group in 1995. He's had more than 15 years experience in human resources management. He's worked extensively with companies of all sizes and industries in compensation and benefits, compensation studies, custom surveys, executive compensation analysis. He's written and presented intermediate sanctions compliance, New York State Governor's Executive Order number 38, and related governance best practices. Larry is an active member of World at Work and the Society for Human Resource Management. So I'm going to give the remote control over to Larry here, and he's going to take it away.
Okay.
Thank
you, Dana. All righty. So as Dana said, we're going to talk a bit this morning about compensating employees, but also rewarding employees. So I think what we want to do is sort of distinguish between those two terms. Comp really is, compensation. You think of employee pay, and that is intended to address their basic needs. They need to be able to pay their rent, buy food, pay their bills, and meet the basic social needs that a salary and financial rewards provide. You can't forget the benefits as well, because those are an integral part of your compensation program. The expectation from most employees is that their compensation will be competitive within their labor market, either their geographic market, their industry sector, and the like. And under the compensation program, your rewards may be somewhat limited to, depending on your approach, cost of living adjustment only, and that usually is reflective of the any increases in the consumer price index in your specific geographic area. You might have merit increases, and of course, those recognize performance and usually incorporate COLA and then build in a layer of performance in addition to that. Of course, there's variable pay, which can take various forms. Of course, that might include sales commissions or other types of commissions, incentives, either short-term or long-term incentives, and of course, discretionary bonuses may be included in that. And then, of course, for those that are publicly traded, there are equity and stock options as well. In other types of organizations, there may be phantom stock options, as they call them. So those are again, important to be able to attract and retain employees. What we think about is in terms of rewards is how you go beyond that, how do you engage employees and reinforce the desired behaviors that are so important within your specific organization. I like to think of this as having multiple facets to developing your overall overarching strategy. That you start with a bedrock of employee engagement strategies. These are the things that will really help employees to understand who you are as an employer, and they, again, they help inform all of the other aspects of this. So your compensation strategy is driven out of your desire to engage employees, as are your organizational values. They inform that strategy as well. So I think these all work very well together and really help you to set up a reward strategy or a comp strategy that will, again, be meaningful to employees and help tie them to you. So let's talk about some of those employee engagement strategies. As I said, these are the ideas that will, and actions that will help employees to understand who you are as an employer. So it's important that you reinforce your organization or your company's mission and values. Why do we exist? Why do we want you to be part of us? Here are our cultures and values. You should have clear and consistent communication regarding your strategic direction and priorities. That helps employees to understand who you are as an employer and where you hope to be, and help them understand what their part is in contributing to the organization's success. It's important that you regularly reinforce and consistently interpret organization policies. You want to be sure that employees do have a good understanding and that they see that you are being consistent, that you are reinforcing these are our policies, these are our expectations. You have to understand those in order to work here and be successful. And of course, realistic and challenging performance standards, and metrics, and regular feedback. Those are all things that are tied to how you evaluate performance and how you reward performance. And then it's also important to provide regular status reports on a department or organization's work projects and goals. That helps people understand what they are doing is actually having an effect on your ability to achieve your strategic goals and strategies. So all of those are very important in terms of setting the stage for determining how then to compensate and reward your employees. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between some of these. Again, with compensation, you want to be sure that your base salaries are competitive enough to attract and retain staff with the skills that you need in order to achieve your goals. You want to provide a package of benefits and perquisites that's consistent with industry standards and that they meet employee needs. Certainly if you can go above and beyond, that's wonderful, that's great, but at least let's satisfy the basic needs. Let's provide health insurance, life insurance, disability, vacation time, paid holidays, and things like that. And then you want to provide opportunities for salary growth in line with market trends. And again, that can vary by industry sector, certainly by geographic area as well. When you think about those salary increases or salary growth, that again, the COLAs, merit increases, general increases, but that can also, you might want to take into consideration, again, the financial rewards that go beyond that, such as formal incentive programs that are specifically linked to the achievement of organizational priorities and strategic goals, that you set metrics at the beginning of a year and say, here are the things that we want to achieve this year. And if we have achieved them at the targeted level, here is what your reward will be. You go in and you set it up at the beginning of the year. People have a good understanding of what their expectations can be, and they're met. And if they're not, they don't get the reward. So, but you have at least established the carrot to provide rewards to them. Likewise, if you don't have that sophisticated a model, you might just take a look at the end of the year and say, we'll build into our salary increase pool some discretionary monies that will then be awarded to top performers who have demonstrated significant achievements to our success. So all of those are part of your compensation strategy. When we talk about rewards, those go beyond just those basic needs, as we said. They reflect your culture and your values. You want to be sure that they're derived from there, and they reward achievement beyond just standard performance expectations. They reinforce those desired behaviors and characteristics, and thereby support employee engagement, help them feel that they are part of you, that they fit in, and that they're being recognized for their efforts. When we think about setting a compensation strategy, this is really kind of almost externally focused. How do we compare to others? In terms of our salaries, our pay rates, how do we, are we going to lag the market? Is it our intention that we're going to be slightly behind the market and maybe make up for it with, we've got a really compelling mission. We've got really engaged employees. We've got a work culture that is just, just exciting and vibrant. But we do pay it a little bit lower. And we also make up for it with maybe some benefits. So that could be a conscious strategy that one might take. Most organizations do tend to want to at least match the market, providing salaries and benefits that are comparable to others. And then others may want to lead the market, that they provide salaries and benefits that go beyond what the market is. I think your first step is to find out where you are in the market by participating in salary surveys that may be specific to your geographic area, to your industry sector. There are a number of membership associations that collect salary information and benefits information and provide that to their members. So I would encourage you to do that, to participate in those so that you at least have a good understanding of where you are relative to others in the market. Of course, another way, not too hard a sales pitch, but is to conduct a salary study. Have an external consultants come in and assist you with doing a comparison to the market, identifying the appropriate market segments that you want to compare to, and letting you know how you stack up to others. So again, I think of comp strategy as that external focus. Where are we relative to others? When we think about the reward strategy, look, there we are. Okay. So as I said, the compensation strategy, you really want to think about how you compare to others. When I think about a reward strategy, I think about what is it that makes us unique? Who are we as a company? So, and how can we set up a rewards program that will establish something that is near and dear to our heart? So some of the things that you look at when you think about your reward strategy. What are our core values? It's a great exercise for you as a company to identify what those are. They can include such things as respect, commitment, professionalism, honesty, integrity, high quality service delivery, customer service excellence. There are a number of things that you as an organization can do, sit down and say, okay, who are we as an organization? What are the things that we really want to reinforce and make sure that we have a culture that really reinforces these types of values? There are also operational values as well. So consistency in approach might be one, or open communications, team-focused environment, responsible risk-taking, cost-effective operations, all of those things that get to how you deliver your services, your products, all of those things. What is it that we want to make sure that, again, that we have in place to support our ability to be successful? And then I think about opportunities. What are the kinds of things that we want to put in place within our work culture that set us apart from others? we are a learning environment. We want to be sure that our employees have the tools they need to grow within their professions, that they have the opportunity to learn about our business. You provide them with stretch assignments, that they're able to be assigned to something special that will a special project that will grow their skills and have them mentored by somebody. Of course, a culture of ongoing feedback, that you have again set up that those engagement strategies of setting clear performance metrics and then giving ongoing feedback so people know at all times how they're doing. Skills training and active career development. Again, all of these are things that may be a part of an organization that, again, make you somewhat unique. So now that you've sort of, I think I want to make sure I didn't skip a slide. Yep, that's right. Okay. So what to reward? Now comes the, sort of where the rubber meets the road. You've identified your values. Now it's time to identify the specific desired behaviors that will model, that will make sure that those values are live. So if you look at high quality service as one, define very specifically, what is it that you expect? That someone will listen carefully and respond appropriately, that they demonstrate respect in each interaction, that they don't judge, that they are listening carefully and trying to put themselves in a customer's shoes and see where they're coming from, and they go above and beyond to meet a customer's needs or stakeholders' needs or a colleague's needs. And open communications, effective interpersonal skills, that they are a proactive information sharer, that they don't, they're not a log jam, and keep information to themselves, that they actually do make sure it gets passed along the pipeline as necessary. That they are cost effective. They maximize the resources that the organization provides to them, either supplies, equipment, budget dollars, whatever it might be. And then they also are able to control budget within the established parameters. Responsible risk taking, another organizational value that we talked about early. You want to suggest innovative solutions, that they weigh options appropriately and they accept accountability. So all of these, again, you want to identify very specifically what is it that will carry through those values and make them a part of our work life, and that we can engage in our daily work activities. When you think about the rewards that go along with that, it's really important to understand that one size does not fit all. You have multi-generational workforces, people who are at different points in their careers. The rewards may be very different for somebody who is just starting out versus somebody who's been with the company for an extended period of time. So it's and of course the multicultural workforces. So you want to be sure that you address some of those concerns and that you're able to incorporate all of those perspectives into developing your rewards program. It's important to ensure that your rewards program is inclusive, that it does provide equal access to all employees to earn rewards. So again, cultural things can very much come into play, that you may have a culture that has certain values, or an organizational culture that has certain values, but then how do you make sure that somebody, if you're saying, okay, fine, this is an information sharer culture, and somebody's not used to that, they're not used to, or they're not used to necessarily putting themselves forward, how do you get to helping everybody feel comfortable in doing that in a way? How do you establish some rewards that may work around that? So it's important to get some representative employee input to help identify the most meaningful rewards for different groups of employees, for different segments of your employee populations. And some of the ways to do that are focus groups, task teams, suggestion box, employee engagement surveys, and stay interviews. One of my colleagues shared with me something that she had done with one of the companies she worked with. They had basically spun off a couple of employee groups from the parent companies, and they wanted to create a collective employer culture, shared culture that brought them together under the new employer's name. So they blended in employees from both of those new groups, and as well as the satellite employees, those working remotely, and formed a work team so that they were able to get employee input, and then they helped inform the new values of the company, of the newly formed entities. So they solidified those organizational values with the new identity. And as part of that, again, one of the things they did was they created tokens and note cards so that employees could reinforce those desired behaviors and values with other employees. They could, hand them a token if they saw them modeling a specific valued behavior. So it became almost a game in a way that created a lot of fun. They were able to, count up at the end of a week or of the month how many points or tokens or note cards an employee had collected, maybe enter them into a lottery, and then have some fun prizes out of it. So they really made a fun process out of that focus group or task team. So I think those are the kinds of things that you can think about. How do you, get that input? One of my experiences was working with an organization that had been very traditional and siloed, and they wanted to break away from that and break down the silos and create a culture that reinforced, team behaviors and shared information and collaboration. And so one of the things we did was form a task team, mostly around job evaluation of all things, but it was across the organization. It was their first experience as an organization in working together across teams. And it was a wonderful experience because everybody got to share their own perspectives, their understanding of specific jobs within their area. It taught people to listen and to understand other perspectives. And it created a whole culture of respect. And they continued long after the exercise was over to meet as a team in other areas as well. So I can't emphasize enough that having some kind of representative groups of employees providing input on your rewards program, it's so important. Okay. Let's talk about some sample rewards. We've talked a little bit about those monetary rewards, that there are formal incentives that are tied to specific achievement of organizational or personal performance goals. Usually you set those up at the beginning of the year, set up the objectives, set up your rewards, and then monitor and provide feedback throughout the year. And at the end of the year, you understand where you are in relation to your targets and can define the appropriate rewards then. As I said, there can be discretionary bonuses that you just see what's left in the pool at the end of the year. And if there's sufficient funds, you may decide to take a portion of those and reward individuals who have been superstars, who've contributed above and beyond toward the achievement of goals. There are also spot bonuses to reward special accomplishments throughout the year. So I think that's those are useful. They're usually fairly small dollar amounts. They're not, but they do recognize when somebody has stepped in and really addressed a need within the organization, and it's very helpful in reinforcing that ability to step up, the desire to step up. There are also gift cards. But I have a friend who works in retail, and he is thrilled every time he gets a gift card from his employer. And it's just because I saw you interacting with that client. You really went above and beyond in listening to them, working with them. You spent over an hour on that interaction and they left very satisfied. They spent a ton of money. And so here's a gift card to say thank you. So those can also be reinforced. And I believe gift cards are not taxable. So there's another side to that. Then there are, of course, non-monetary rewards. A simple thank you. I will say early in my career, I was working on a big volunteer effort and helped organize a weekend retreat, training our volunteers to be effective fundraisers. And at the end of it, I got a handwritten note from the chair of the committee that put that together, with whom I'd worked pretty closely. And that was just a thrill for me to have a handwritten note that said, thank you for all that you did. We couldn't have pulled this off without your efforts, and we really appreciate it. A simple thank you goes a long way. There's also public acknowledgement, recognizing somebody at a staff meeting, on a Zoom call, wherever it may be, just letting somebody know you did something special, you contributed something, you displayed a valued behavior that I just want to point that out and let you know that we saw it, we recognize it, and we thank you. Staff spotlights, those can include such things as Employee of the Month, Employee of the Quarter, Employee of the Year. You can put something on your company newsletter, just a little, here's a little spotlight on this person who has been with the company X period of time, and they have really done this, and this. Gives them recognition and helps them feel good. Team meals, really great idea for pulling a team together, for brainstorming over a meal, for rewarding accomplishment of key milestones along the way. Another great, other social events could be, again, at certain project milestones that you have a quick little party. And so they're the great way to do that. Social tickets, movie tickets are one form of reward. There are other, tickets to a show, tickets to a concert, whatever it might be. Branded merchandise, again, tying people to your company, helping them feel a part of it. Include t-shirts, baseball caps, tote bags, whatever it might be, that is not given out to everybody, that they are something that are earned based on your performance and modeling of behaviors. Extra vacation or personal time for somebody who has really, they worked overtime, they, went way above and beyond in terms of effort and time spent to get something done. And so you might give them a day off to recognize that. Or other special privileges. One of the things that I remember doing at one company was we created a scholarship for an employee to attend our annual conference. The employee had to model behaviors that were, they went above and beyond in terms of working with employees, working with employees across the organization and with its chapters across the United States. So very much, let's make sure that we recognize these specific behaviors and reward them. And that was to then come to our, this was working within a national office, come to our annual meeting where we all come together as a company, and you see how people interact and what that really is all about. And it was a great learning experience, and again, help that employee feel really tied to the organization. So those are all great ways of using non-monetary rewards.
Larry?
Yes.
In the chat, I asked people to put in, if they have a reward program, what is it?
Yep.
And Kathy said, we have a program called SCORE, Staff Recognizing Outstanding Recognition Every Day. So staff get points for service awards, spot bonus points for game changer, activities, peer recognition, annual core value awards for each department, and annual employee of the year. We use the Terry Berry platform so they can select gifts with their points.
That's a great program.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, I skipped right over the service awards. And again, that's something, if length of service within your organization is a valued thing, then yes, certainly, 5, 10, 15, 20, it's always a great way to recognize service. Again, one of the companies I worked with had a program similar to, using the Terry Berry. We happen to have Tiffany in company, but they had, here is a selection of gifts that you can choose from at the 5-year level. Here's what you can choose at the 10-year level. Here's what you can choose at the 15. So the dollar value, of course, went up. So that was another nice way of recognizing service. I saw that there was one other that came in.
Yeah, it just came in. It says, from Luann, we have a company recognition program where you are allotted so many recognition points to be awarded to others through the year, so you can send it virtually with a note depicting the reason for the award. We then have a store that we can shop for merchandise to purchase the points given. She recently got an air fryer and a Versace perfume. Heck yes.
That's great. Alrighty, so some of the rewards linked to professional development can include on-the-job training, opportunities to work on special projects, participation on task teams, team leadership. You put somebody in charge of a team for a bit. You could do rotating, again, attendance at professional conferences, skills training, formal education courses. Again, people are demonstrating that they are high performers, that they have the potential to grow. So giving these rewards linked to professional development reinforce that the desired behaviors, reinforce their ability to grow within the company, build engagement, and provide meaningful rewards. Let's spend just a couple of minutes now talking about some of the COVID and post-COVID considerations. Boy, oh boy, we've all had this with the work-life balance, and especially when working remotely, those of us who had, basically we're told stay home. Work became a very different animal. I was at my computer oftentimes by 7 in the morning, checking emails, and often working through until 7 or 8 at night. And I know I'm not alone. However, and working through weekends, because after all, what's a weekend and where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You can't go to the movies. You can't go out to dinner or anything like that. So might as well get some work done. Though needless to say, a lot of us got a little burnt, a little crispy around the edges. So one of the things that are some of the things that people have been doing, mobile apps such as Headspace and Calm, things that help people de-stress and focus on something else. There are some that have games that you can play that help de-stress. Wonderful ideas. Mental health days. I know at least a couple of companies that I've worked with have established, we have all worked so hard, and we work so hard and so long. Every other Friday, we will take a mental health day and no work, just chill out, or, even half a day. Telehealth visits, mental health visits particularly, where you can, either through your EAP or through your health plan, maybe have a program that people can reach out to mental health providers and help to distress. Inflexible schedules. I know that, again, while I sometimes was there at 7 in the morning and working through to 7 at night or later, there were times during the day that if I was doing that kind of work, I felt free to take a walk and go clear my head for an hour, or to go sit out in my courtyard and read for a bit. Very helpful to have that flexibility to recognize that, you got to find some balance. Who among us is not zoomed out? we are constantly in meetings, sometimes back to back to back to back to back with, I mean, I know some of my clients even, they're constantly late to meetings because they scheduled them, just with very little break in between, and they always run over. There comes a point where you just, and I know in my own case that a lot of those times when we're meeting, we're doing all of these things, I know it's important, I can't get my other work done. I am a hands-on consultant. I'm not just selling. I'm actually doing analyses and doing data entry and preparing reports. And I can't get to those in the course of a day when I'm constantly on Zoom. So some of our clients and I have started to try to do this is establish Zoom free days. Just make it known up front. I am not going to be available for meetings on this day. I am going to be, I won't say radio silent. I will check my emails at the beginning of the day. I'll check in at noon or during my lunch break. I will check in toward the end of the afternoon. But I am taking this day for myself to get some work done. So that is another way, again, recognizing that that people do need some of that time to get other work done beyond just talking about things. And then health. I will admit I lost 50 pounds over the course of the pandemic. That was a very mindful effort. But I know so many people who said, guess what? I'm at my desk all the time. I am not getting up and doing the exercise. The gyms were closed, workout centers and buildings were closed. So what can we do to reinforce healthy behaviors? And so my brother's company gave everybody Fitbits to help track their steps. They have a little haptic buzz that every hour reminds them to get up and walk at least 250 steps. It keeps track of the number of steps that you take. It checks your heartbeat, calorie intake. Those are all things that help reinforce healthy behaviors. Again, there are various mobile apps with pedometers and other kinds of things that you could provide to staff, really to help them maintain healthy lifestyles. And again, there is a benefit to the company as well, because healthier lifestyles help reduce your healthcare costs. So that helps keep your premium costs somewhat lower as well. So those are all kinds of things that as we're coming out of COVID, we're starting to get back to work, on a semi-regular basis. I'm now in the office at least 1 to 2 days a week. But those are all still things that we need to consider and help people understand how to work more effectively, how to model those behaviors, and how to say thank you to employees for the extraordinary work that they've done through this pandemic period. I always ask if any others out there have addressed some of these either COVID or post-COVID considerations, what kinds of programs you might have. If anybody wants to enter those into the chat, that would be great. In the meanwhile, some parting thoughts. Stay true to your organization mission and values. Those are the things that will guide you in establishing appropriate compensation and rewards programs. Link several strategies to maximize your impact. Use those employee engagement strategies, your compensation strategy, and then ultimately your reward strategy. Engage and challenge your employees to participate in organizational processes. Get them involved in task teams, focus groups. Do stay interviews with people who have been on board for a period of time. Help get their perspective. Why is it you stay? Why are we such a good employer that you haven't left? Ensure your compensation and benefits are competitive. Participate in surveys. Take a look at your rewards programs and make sure that they are being maintained at a competitive level relative to your peers. Monitor the effectiveness of your rewards program. They can sometimes have a shelf life. I know some of the things that I have developed in the past Again, particularly where they were named in honor of a particular individual. You know, after a generation, nobody remembers who that person was. So it kind of loses its effectiveness. So you want to keep it fresh. You want to make sure that you're, again, engaging your current workforce, you know, as people retire, as they leave. You want to take a look at who you've got in your workforce now and then establish rewards that are meaningful for them. So keep them up to date, keep them fresh. And, you know, again, if you start to see slippage and, you know, guess what? Nobody's modeling these behaviors anymore. Well, are those still our values, valued behaviors? Maybe there's something else. Maybe these rewards just aren't enough or they're not appropriate to this particular workforce. Let's pull together another task team and see what we can do to do that. And as I said, refine to adapt employees' changing needs. These things are not static. Your workforce is changing constantly. The type of people you recruit for may be changing. The skill sets are different. Again, it's multicultural. Many companies are looking for more diverse workforces. That means not only diversity in race, ethnicity, but also in perspectives, ability. So there are all sorts of things to take into consideration as your employee workforce changes. So do we have any other items in the chat room based
No, I don't see things. Does anybody have any questions, comments? And if you'd like to speak, I can certainly allow you to speak. All right.
Well, that pretty well wraps up my presentation. We'll welcome any comments or questions. And again, I believe there is a brief survey that will be sent out.
Yep, I'll take over now, Larry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anne
Thank you,
said this has
everybody.
been very timely and useful. Thank you. You're welcome. So we did a survey, webinar survey, and we determined that the time and the length of the webinars are going to change. We do these every third Friday of the month, and you should be receiving emails. If you don't receive an email, please let us know in your evaluation at the end, and we will get you signed up to receive the emails. And we'd like you to invite others to watch. So the upcoming webinars, so we've gone from 3 30-minute webinars to one 45-minute webinar at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. Next month, Graham Dale, he's a senior consultant. He's going to be talking about measuring organizational success, the HR audit. August 20th, Sandy's going to speak on discover a new way to engage and connect your people. And then September 17th, we have one of our new senior consultants who's going to talk about compensation plan design. Like I said, at the end of the survey, or at the end of the meeting here, when you log off, you will have an opportunity to complete a evaluation, very short. Please take time. Your feedback, it really does matter. We listen to it. It helps us understand what topics you're interested in. And we will add that to our calendar. So thank you, everybody. Again, if you want to stay on and ask any questions, your slides will be sent. There is a recording that will be sent. We can probably send the slides too. But also in the email that I sent earlier this morning, the reminder email, there is a link to a white paper that gives you more tips and tricks on compensation ideas. So I want to thank everybody for joining us on this Friday, Father's Day weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful Father's Day on Sunday, and we will see you in July. Thank you.